Think about it.
We are gathered here today to discuss Trent Harris and Reuben and Ed and Crispin Glover all in one great big wall of wax. So I'll go first and tell you how I came across Reuben and Ed. Back in the 90s, when everybody got their movies from Blockbuster, the Blockbuster counter always had the giant book that has all of the movies listed in it. And I remember vividly making lists of all the Crispin Glover films that were in existence. And the front desk person was never going to be the person that would help me figure out where all of the movies existed within the Blockbuster system. So they had this phone number that you could call. And you could speak to a human, and the human would tell you which branch location of Blockbuster had that film in stock for you to rent. So I was going through and checking off all of the Crispin Glover films. My Tutor, High School USA, Twister.
This was so she could go and shoplift these films right off the shelf.
No, because they have like the things in them. And
they used to charge like $150 for a view.
Exactly. So, long story short, rented the film, fell in love with it, tried to buy it. They wanted to charge me $150 for it, and I said, you can keep it. And long time went by, like maybe a year and a half or so, and I called the Blockbuster back up. And I said, do you still have Reuben and Ed in stock for rent? And I was like, just out of curiosity, can you check, was I the last person to rent it? Like, how active has this film been? And sure enough, nobody had rented it since I did. And I said, what would you think about me buying it from your store? And they said, okay, we could mark it as like a used VHS for like $5.99 or something. And I was like, I will be right there. Do not put that out on the shelf. I will be there to buy it in like 20 minutes.
Oh, depriving so many people of a movie gem.
Yes. So that's how I came across Trent Harris by way of Crispin Glover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and every time I watch the film, it just gets better. I see something new in it that I didn't see before.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So we kind of, especially me, grew up in a tiny Florida town. Not so much you, Orlando. For me, a much smaller, provincial kind of place where like people have like Neanderthal features and they drag their knuckles. But it was very hard to find good cinema, and of course, if you had good cinema, you probably went out of business. So a shop went out of business, and there it was, just laying there for $5, along with Barry Lyndon by Stanley Kubrick, and I couldn't believe my luck for the Barry Lyndon, and I didn't know what Reuben and Ed was, except that I saw Crispin Glover's name on it and thought, that guy's weird. I sure like him. I'll get that. And I did. And I bought it mostly because I knew Crispin Glover, not only from the Back to the Future franchise, but that crazy album that he released where he did These Boots Are Made for Walking.
Clown.
Yeah. It was insanity. Mm-hmm. So any film with him in it just had to be good.
Worthwhile, at least for the bits that he's in it, without knowing anything about the film or what it was about.
Mm-hmm. So that kind of changed the course of my life.
Yeah, and like Reuben and Ed is like not just Crispin Glover. I mean, you got Trent Harris behind the camera making the magic happen,
mm-hmm.
and you've got Howard Hesseman and Karen Black. So it's like a stellar cast of crazy people making a crazy story come to life, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is subversive and crazy, and it's in a very small genre of films that play with your head.
I mean, the soundtrack's great. The music, the incidental music is just freaking great.
It sounds like something Mark Mothersbaugh would have done.
Yeah.
I would rank it up there with John Carpenter's Dark Star for being insanely over-the-top, creepily subversive and weird. Yeah, I love it. One thing I think that will really bind a couple or give friends something in common is obviously cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if one of us was a fan of Love Actually?
No. I think the fact that like if I think it would be a deal breaker, like if you were dating somebody and you showed them Reuben and Ed and like they didn't get it, like they legit didn't get it and didn't want to get it and weren't curious about why you liked it so much.
So what are the films that you might show possibly the guy you're married to?
Reuben and Ed is like straight up there, like really at the top of the list. But it's like the most offbeat one that definitely is polarizing. The other ones I would say are 3 Days of the Condor and Parallax View, which are certainly much more accessible at first swipe than Reuben and Ed. But I've watched Reuben and Ed many more times than I have either of those films.
And With Nail and I,
perhaps.
Yeah, that's one of my big weaknesses, along with Mr. Trent Harris. Definitely that. Most any film by Hal Hartley. These are the things that bind us together. Probably not so much Yentl or whatever.
No.
So thank you, Trent, for your subversive filmmaking. You've given some people a whole lot to talk about and a whole lot of commonality where otherwise they probably wouldn't realize that they were old souls meant to be together. If we weren't buying or taking on loan things from Trent Harris like Simon, is there anything else that would have represented your lust to own bits of culture?
There's a couple of things that have escaped my ability to purchase at the time, like the blue denim Western shirt that Clark Gable wore in the Misfits. I think it went for like $350 every day once upon a time, and I just did not have that kind of money. It was like that was unobtainium.
Yeah. That would
there's been a few things.
That would be a bonkers thing, though.
Like things that, to think of like something else from that film, like the cherry patterned dress that Marilyn wears when she's playing. Like that you would never even A, be able to find it, or B, be able to afford it. And so like movie props don't just they're not falling off trees.
No.
Maybe if you live in LA, you might have access to stuff.
A focal point of an entire cult film, like Dead Simon, sloshing around inside of a Coleman cooler, or a Reuben Farr shoe that may very well have been the one that narrowly missed Dave Letterman's face.
I think that's the right one. That's the right
I think that's it.
One that was used to kick.
Oh, I'm just full of hope that this is the one that swished within inches of his.
Because like a right one.
Yeah, it's very meaningful. Yeah. I can't think of much else I'd want to own. One of the spacesuits from 2001: A Space Odyssey is going up for auction in a few days, and that's going to be like $100,000 to possibly $200,000 prop for sale. That'd be really cool to own. The With Nail and I script that went up for auction, and I didn't think I'd be able to afford it, so then it sold for far less than I would have given it credit for possibly selling for. I didn't get it.
The cool thing about that is the guy that bought it actually gave it back to Richard Griffiths.
I did not know that.
Oh, excuse me, Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant. Yeah, Richard.
Mixing up my characters.
Richard Griffiths.
I'm mixing up my characters.
Yes, Richard E. Grant. That's funny. Yeah, I didn't know that, and that's really neat.
Yeah.
There's not much else out there that I would be chomping at the bit to have in my house. But a dead cat named Simon.
Of course.
Yeah. Sign me up. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Very much. We will be...
Take good care of Simon, and if you ever need him back, he will come right back.
We'll be good caretakers.
Yeah.
At any rate, goodbye. Okay, check it out. This arrived recently in the mail. It's a pretty cool thing. I'm very proud to show it to you. It is a big box.
It's a big box.
It's a very large box, and it weighs a whole bunch. Except
Not really.
I'm exceedingly strong.
Not really.
Actually, it weighs nothing. We got this box
a year and 3/4 ago.
My goodness, a
It'll
year
be
and
2 years, October.
we're homing in on 2 years. Let's just say more than a year ago.
okay.
Anything
we can
else?
Say that. That's fair.
We could say that. Anything
That's
else
fair.
sounds a little bad. So we have this box, and within this box is a cinematic
magical
artifact.
animal.
Right. We have in this box a token of one of the best directors that has ever come out of
Anywhere.
Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
That was certainly the United States.
Yeah.
Possibly the world. And it is one of the most important characters in one of his most important films. We're looking at you, Trent Harris. Hi. We sure like you. We think you're okay. And so therefore we decided to buy this off of you. So
yeah.
I'm going to zip it open.
Excellent to help. Okay. There's the bubble wrap. Excavated. Plastic bag. My goodness. Plastic bag.
Why am I thinking Shroud of Turin?
Right?
It's Simon!
It's Simon. Oh my goodness. It's Simon. It's Simon. Does he stand? Where's the squeaky toy? Squeaky toy. There's the squeaky toy. Any kind of stands. Any kind of stands.
Come here, Max. Look, Max. Max, look at this.
We have entered the uncanny valley. Max is very unsure about what to do about said aminal. What about the squeaky toy? You want to go get my other Simon?
Yes, I do.
So we can have the two Simons together? Push came to shove, and I needed a mascot for a Halloween costume, so I made my own.
Mm-hmm.
Simon is Simon. Cat Detective Agency, right here.
Wow. You know, I never would have guessed that the scale would have been so close.
Cat-sized.
That's really well done.
Cat-sized.
That's really, really well done. Well, at any rate, now we have the slight issue, Trent, of
Simon is home. We'll find a container for him.
we need to properly display
Yep.
Simon, and now we get to figure that out.
Now we know how big he is.
So we're off now to go figure out display options. And
Max, you can chew on that Simon all you want. Go for it. Max! Rawr. Rawr. Rawr.
Think about it.